first round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship. The two-day event offers some of the best high-speed action on the rally calendar. This program is brought to you by Toyota, celebrating 50 years in motorsport.
Folds of the area's rolling hills, the picturesque town was founded in 1813 and is named after the Earl of Caledon. Today it is also a nature lover's paradise, while the area also offers hiking trails and hot springs.
A wet and windy Cape welcomed the crews to the official start at Helderberg Toyota. We caught up with defending champion Enzo Kuhn.
Always a little bit of uncertainty which adds to the nerves on the first event. But no different than previous years, except for a little bit thicker competition this year. We have more cars in S2000, which is great, good for the sport.
Toyota ace Serge Dancer was also looking forward to the closer competition.
It's nice to see a new season with quite a few S2000s and some young guys in there, so it's going to be an interesting year. I can see that, and a lot of more new names might come out of this, so it's good.
Former production car driver Johnny Gemmell is a newcomer to the S2000 fold.
It's a much lighter car. It's quite a bit different, but we'll use this event as like a long test session, get used to the car, maybe make some adjustments. But we did some testing Wednesday afternoon. It goes quite nicely. You know, I think there's 8 S2000s in this event, and everyone's going to be racing to try and beat each other.
Competition in N4 was also expected to be fierce. Mitsubishi Lancer pilot Fernando Roida is one of the front runners.
We have different suspension on, which seem to be a bit better, and we've got a different management system as well in the car, which seems to work also a bit better. But you know, the truth will be in the next hour. We will know whether it really is better, or the stopwatch is one thing when you're testing, but you know, we'll see.
One of the young guns in local rallying is S2000 newcomer John Williams.
I'm just glad to be here in time for the first event. You know, just great opportunity for me at my age, you know, so. But we'll see after the first stage how it goes and where I slot in. These guys taught me how to drive, and now I'm racing against them. So, but I think if I feel comfortable, I'm going to go, but if not, I'm going to take it easy.
VW Works driver Jan Habich seemed quietly confident.
So I think it's going to be a very interesting season. It's the most cars we've had in top class for many years, and obviously quite a couple of new guys with new ideas, and you know, with quite a bit of motivation. But you'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be quite hectic, especially the first half of the season.
Is this year's Polo a better car?
Very similar to last year. They obviously have now been homologated internationally, and obviously a few subtle changes on maybe the roll cages here and there, but as a whole the performance package is basically the same as last year.
And what is Habich's take on the increased competition up front?
We've got 8 or 9 S2000s and a good 4 or 5 or 6 N4, so it gives you 12, 15 cars, all with the potential to win rallies, which I think is great for the sport.
We caught up with current N4 champion Nicholas Ryan at the Fuel and Tyre service point in Caledon.
I think I just got to go straight out from the beginning, because there's a lot of people gunning for that number 1 place on the production, and now everybody's moved up, as I said, and everybody wants to know that they're moving up is for something, not for nothing.
Ryan's weapon this year is a new Autotech built Subaru Impreza N12B.
It's new, the settings are new, the tolerances are new. It feels new. It feels great. I can't get much better than I have, so I can't give an excuse that the car's not wrong. So it's just me.
For the rally fraternity, the focus was red-hot, high-speed action. And for the first time, no less than 8 top-class S2000 rally machines would be vying for line honours. Toyota upped its S2000 Runx entries from last year's 2 to a total of 4, while Volkswagen's 3 works entries were augmented by a factory-prepped 4th car for promising youngster John Williams. Clerk of the course Thomas Lone had no mercy for those crews who had hoped to ease into the rally. The very first stage was also the longest of the entire rally. The 29-kilometre stage offered lots of smooth, fast gravel, but also a couple of tricky dips and ruts to catch out the unwary, exactly what the spectators were hoping for. 5-month layoff, most of the teams were rusty, while the likes of John and Doug Williams in the Guma Trident Press S2000 Polo had the added challenge of getting to grips with their new, much faster steed. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh were also paying school fees in the Castrol Toyota Runex. JP Damso is another newcomer to the S2000 fold in his total back Toyota Runex and was still learning the ropes. Not so Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen, who looked quick and confident in their S2000 Runex. The Total Stars consistency earned him a 4th place in last year's championship, and he'll be hungry for even greater success this year. Habich and Judd weren't as sharp on this stage as expected and were pipped by both Enzo Kuhn and Jürgen Fecken. 2006 champion Kuhn is ultra smooth, but the BP Polo wasn't quite on song. Defending the championship is a new experience for the lanky driver, and the competition this year is fiercer than ever. Fecken has been knocking on the door of rally victory for a while now, and many believe 2007 could be his year. A season of S2000 experience will stand him in good stead, and he looked committed, beating both his teammates. But Serge Damso was master of all, splashing his way to a stage victory.
The N4 production car tussle also promised to be a close one. Among the faster teams in this class are Fissa du Plessis and Dave Lefkovich, who were giving it stick from the word go in their Pertec creepy crawly Subaru STI, and losing some bits in the process. With a freshly prepared car and sporting a trimmer profile, Fissa was in a confident mood. Much was expected of 2006 production car champions Nicholas Ryan and Scott van Heerden in their new Bosel Johnny's Way Subaru. But it was obvious from the outset that Ryan wasn't quite at ease behind the wheel of his new monster. Perhaps part of the reason was a challenge from an unexpected quarter. Last year's A7 champions, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich, started their 2007 campaign at the wheel of a brand new N4 Pro Drive Subaru with support from Konica Minolta. And Charles looked in devastating form from the outset. Ryan would have to pull up his socks.
Class A6, an older machine, was stealing the show. Eugene Lawrence and Derek Jacobs gave hope to the middle-aged by handling their veteran Total Toyota Conquest RSI into an early class lead.
Very competitive, it's doing well, pulls strongly, the handles beautifully, and it's very forgiving. So all those qualities make it a very good race car.
Another A6 car with lots of pace is the Panhard VW Polo of Steve Wilkin and Brian Careyhill, and it certainly showed a good turn of speed. Disappointing were Craig Trott and new navigator Carolyn Swan, who were still getting to know each other and their new team Total Toyota Runex. Always an A6 frontrunner, Trott found himself off the pace.
Yeah, as you say, new car, new navigator. Stage 1, I think a bit of a learning curve. You know, driver, a bit of steep, not trying to get used to the car.
Local stalwarts Andy Haig-Smith and Eugene LaRue were also mixing it with the front runners in the class, pipping Trott by a handy 9 seconds.
We caught up with Fecken after stage 1.
It's a very quick stage, and there's a lot of places you can actually almost make the corner straight, so you have to be wide awake, and it's very fast. Yeah, the spectators, we just clipped the inside of a corner and the wheel alignment went out, so we took a few Ks just to get settled. Steering is slightly turned, so but the time is not too bad.
The VW driver confirmed that it's very competitive out there.
Last year, if you had a flat or something, then you were 4th, 5th. Now, if you have a flat, you might just be 9th, 10th. So it's a bit of a different kettle of fish this year.
In the Toyota camp, it was smiles all round.
goes quite well. Basically, just got to get used to it, I think. But there was like a max dip we just went through, and we took off a little bit. To start off, if I feel comfortable, we'll try a bit harder as we get on the weekend.
I just didn't come across quick enough, and there was a piece of like a bridge just sticking out, and the right wheel just hit it. I knew straight away, but we thought if we stopped we'd lose more time, and we just took it slightly easier, and we got to the end, so it wasn't too bad. I think we only lost a minute, whereas if we stopped we probably would have lost 3-4 minutes.
You seem to have broken a shock on that stage 1, and it hit the side shaft, so we had to replace the shock and the side shaft, and it took us 7 minutes longer than service was allowed, so we lost 70 seconds on penalty.
In the Pertec Creepy Crawley camp, the service crew sprung into action when Duplessis Subaru arrived at the service point looking rather worse for wear after suffering a puncture 10 kilometres from the finish. By comparison, the Wilkin crew looked relaxed.
The car is really nice to drive, quite forgiving, but you know, I'm still getting used to it, so hopefully we can go a little bit quicker still. The first big difference is you've got traction, you know, and the car can actually get away, and same in the corners. It's much easier to, when you get into trouble, to get it out of trouble because you've got all 4 wheels pulling. So all in all, it's a much easier car to drive.
And here are the leaderboards after stage 1.
At just short of 22 kilometers, stage 2 continued the fast and furious theme of the rally opener. But at speed, those marbles can be very slippery, especially for the first few cars. Conditions certainly were not